Hello! Hi everyone! Today I am doing my mum's bluebells. She's got the most gorgeous garden full of bluebells. So here we go. I've got a bit of a recycled canvas going on and I'm just going to go in there. I've got my oil paints up there, selection of brushes, palette, a bit of water in case I need it, and some inks. I'm just going to start splattering straight away. So I've just splattered with a bit of green, a bit of orange. Ooh. Whoops, bit of yellow. Oh, that's so pretty already. I might have a bit more green actually. I was a bit conservative there. I'm going to go on with a bit of blue. Oh, that's nice. Again, there's no stress about this. It's just how it happens to land. But I like that already. And then what have I got here? I think that's it. I think that's all. I've got this slightly thinner lift ink. I don't really know what that does. I'm just going to sling some on there anyway and see. And then I've got a big brush. I'm just going to pat some of it in like that. I don't know why, just am. Bit of squiggling all around. Lovely. Such pretty colours already. I've got a bit of water here. I thought that might be quite useful because it's very warm outside. So I'm just going to dilute a bit like that. Oh, it's dried already. Might have to put a little bit more on. Put that there. Bit of yellow. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, you have to sort of chuck the water on and do it quite quickly, I think. Right, that's the start. That's my start. Right. And then I haven't even bothered decanting the colours. I'm just going to pop it straight onto my finger. There's several ways. I mean, when I used to start doing bluebells, actually no, we'll put a bit on here. I used to do them meticulously so they looked exactly like the bluebell, and it would take hours and hours and hours. But now I do actually like just going for it and doing them in a more expressive way, and I like to use my fingers and then finish up with a bit of a brush. So they're not going to look exactly like it. If you want to position one in front of you, you can just sort of sit it on your canvas or hold it like that, which is quite nice. So I've got a purple, a blue, white, and I'm just going to go for it. So basically you've just got the basic, you just want to block in the basic sort of form, something like that, and then I look around the garden in front of me, and whatever one I see, I sort of do a very quick sort of version of that form. And my eyes are sort of dotting round in front of me the whole time, see what the colours I'm picking up, and a very sort of rough idea of form. So you don't need to worry too much at all. It's about how to do the flower so that it looks like it is the flower, but without meticulously copying every single petal. So when someone looks at it, they know exactly what it is. And then there's areas I'm just going to do blue and just do some squiggles on top in a minute. So I'm just going to buff in, do my usual buffing. So quite white I want it, quite pale. And it can go over the ink as well. leaving bits of the ink come through. We can always reinstate some more ink as well. All right. So I like to start off with the ink because it creates automatically a feeling that you've got for your own self of like an engagement within the canvas, and it you don't have this feeling of having to create on a completely white one. It's just really nice to give it a bit of a colour and a bit of atmosphere to straight away to start off with. It's lovely just listening to the bees buzzing. I love the smell of the bluebells, such a gorgeous scent, so delicate. And so when you do this, you really want to sort of really buff it into the grain. I always make sure all the grains are full of paint. So every time I dab my fingers in there, again, I don't give myself time to think about it. I just pick up several different colours. Really, my eye is I'm looking on the canvas, getting a feeling of whether it's more blue and purple or more turquoise and white. So it is a sensation thing going on. And also sort of a quick weigh up of how much of the ink. So I have lost a bit of the ink there, but as I say, I may well instate some, I don't know. It won't go over this surface though, because this is very oily, so I might have to reinstate some when it's dry. But where it is, where the just the canvas, I'm just going to pop on a little bit more in certain areas, just to see the effect. It's nice when you really whack it on, because you get a real sort of dart of colour right across, which gives it straight away sort of energy and excitement. I love that. Right. Whack, whack, whack. And I really, really like this orange as well. Oh, I've got it all over my shoulder. Because as I can see it, you've got the sunlight coming through the greens, and it's causing this sort of orange, which is so beautiful. I've got it absolutely everywhere. Right, so now I just don't want to do a few more little of our blobby bits before I go to moving with the brush. Literally blob, 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 blob like this. again, you keep looking up at what you're doing, but you're sort of engaging with what's appearing in front of you and sort of balancing whether you want blue there, more blue here, maybe more blue there, more blue there. Oh, so pretty. A bit more blue there. So I've sat down here many times in my mum's garden painting these, and sometimes I like to do it more bluebell, and sometimes I just like to do an energy where it starts off bluebell and then ends up with being this sort of spirals and beautiful shapes, just inspired by the energy of the plants and being down in this lovely space. I think my mum actually always secretly likes them to look properly like bluebells, like they used to. Right, a bit more. There's the Godsall Church. I love that sound. So now I just wanted a bit of white, and I don't like leaving the canvas poking through because that is just going to go yellow and yucky with time and just looks gappy anyway. It's nice to be able to apply paint. So if you want light coming through, apply the light. So I'm just going to apply some light with white at the moment. And then I want to apply some light. I've completely forgot one of my colours, but never mind. I didn't bring them all up the road with me. I didn't want to carry too many. But it is lovely to be able to just sit in nature somewhere. I'm just really spoilt with being able to come here. Okay, that's that. And then I've got this lovely colour. Turn the palette over. I've got this lovely colour here, which I think if I mix it with a bit of yellow, I'm going to get that lovely sunlight feeling that's coming through the leaves. And what I love about applying this, I could have done it with a palette, and I'm kind of dabbing it on so it looks really like lumpy, which is lovely. It's so satisfying to look up when you look up to it close. Again, what I'm doing is I'm looking ahead of me, but I'm really sort of concentrating also on just filling these gaps so that you're not got a real brainy looking canvas when you look at it, especially up close. Okay, now I'm going to, there's quite a few there. Right, now I'm going to go to my little brush and I'm going to get a tiny bit of oil. And this is just linseed oil. I'll make sure my pot doesn't fall over. I can just stand it on there for now. And what I'm going to do is get I want a darker colour. So I've got quite a fine brush. I didn't check to make sure I'd got a good one, but this should be fine. I always like a nylon brush for this so that it's soft. Right, so basically if I pluck that, we examine it, you can see the shape. It's up to you how much time you want to take meticulously recording that shape. And it varies for me, depends how I feel. If you wanted to, you could sit it there, like that. And it's nice to do them that way, so you could study it that way, or study it on its side. Okay, so I just basically want to get a rough idea of that. So, for example, I don't want to now stunt my painting and make it look all rigid by overly copying it, because if you overly now copy it, then you take away from the looseness of what you've created. So you want it fairly oily, And I do a mixture of purples and blues. And also I don't find myself getting hooked on doing one whole stem of bluebells at a time, as you can see. It's sort of like where I don't want to get involved with going into the ego, the thinking aspect of it. I just sort of dot about, and then my ego can't really catch up with me. That's the plan. Can't really go, oh, what are you doing? Which it tends to do otherwise. What will people think? There we are. Why aren't you doing them properly? See, that's what tends to happen. That's why I was so stuck for so many years. And I would say that it was the word stuck, because I couldn't break out. I couldn't really enjoy art because I felt I had to replicate it so perfectly. And it does look beautiful when you replicate it perfectly as well. But I find when you're doing a task, this is so igniting because you see all the colours and the movement, and you can really enjoy the day and just enjoy the moment without getting too caught up in painstakingly replicating. And you can do some stems. I'm going to get a bit of green in a minute. Also, I'm doing this particularly quickly for this film. I might stop the film to make it not too long, and then maybe do a couple of finishing touches, maybe taking a little bit more time. I'm not really sure yet. But I do it fairly quickly, to be honest. I do a mixture, so I'm just doing some stems. I'm just doing some in purple, but I will do some in green. And actually, if you look at the stems, they're not purple, but they are a sort of very pale colour. They have got like a lilac-ness in them. I want to get a bit of a darker blue. I think I bought one with me. And a bit of a green. I don't think I put any of that out yet. A darker blue, a bit of white. Okay, did I put dark blue? Oh gosh. Green. I don't think that came out as such, right? Oh, that's quite a nice colour. That is kind of like the stem, actually. Right. Quite a lot of dipping of the linseed, because otherwise the brush just does not want to move. So you'll end up doing your own sort of stylized version of the flower. Whatever just comes naturally, really, without sort of getting too sort of het up about it or worried about it. And if you feel like you're losing your way, just study the flower again, see the shape. sort of dance your brush about without sort of worrying too much about it. You want to kind of get a feeling of stems, maybe grasses. I want to get a bit of yellow on there because there's lots of like bright yellow. Oh, that didn't work. It's all on the grass, look. Oh, it's because it's so oily. Right. Right, then I brought up this wondrous colour. I hope I did anyway. It is... Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. I brought up this sagey colour anyway. I was hoping to bring like a shimmer. I've obviously forgotten it. I'll add it to it afterwards. I've just got a bit of sagey colour, which I'm just going to put in as well. Adding a bit of depth here and there. Oh, that's quite lovely and rich. And I want some, I think I'm just going to go for some dark purple. I like to have a little, tiny bit of pink in there actually as well. I'm just going to go in there with a bigger brush. Get some watered down pink. Purely because I just like to see that sort of that lovely sort of sharpness coming through. It may not in actuality be there, but it just makes it a really pretty colour. It's actually quite hot now. So it's coming over. There we are. I'm just going to leave, I'm just going to leave that for now and finish the rest off in my own time. Bye.